Take a vagabond.
Hi, I'm Lisa, this is Mark, and we're the Vagabond Dreamers. We're standing here on what we think is a portion of the High Scardus Trail, which connects North Macedonia to Kosovo to Albania, which is where we are currently. So we have a little more work to do to see if that's truly where we are, but regardless, it's pretty darn cool. We're here to share our recent journey to Corsica, France. Mark, did you love it as much as I loved it?
We ended the last video talking about Amalfi and how it was a victim of its expectations, where we had high expectations and it didn't always meet it. But Corsica is the opposite. We had no expectations and we were blown away.
Blown away. Blown away.
Pretty much started at a beach called Nonza, which is up on the top, the very north part of Corsica. This is a black sand lava beach.
They call it sand, but no,
rocks.
It's got a long years to go before those rocks become sand, however.
But we had to climb down quite a ways, 800 feet or something like that, down. I don't know if that's right, but I feel that number.
It was 500 steps.
Yeah, down to the beach, and there was nobody there. And we were by ourselves the whole day. The water was fabulous, super beautiful. People had taken white rocks and written messages, and you'll see that we did the same thing. So when we were down there, and my grandson Jack will appreciate that message probably more than anybody else.
Well, I appreciated it too.
There you go. We found out later that one of the reasons that a lot of people were there is years and years ago, dust from the asbestos mine blew onto this beach, and people were very afraid that it was dangerous. And the government has said it is not. I guess you can believe the government.
Oh, sure, we can always believe the government.
But we'll get back to the asbestos story later. But Nonza was really great. And the day after, or 2 days after, we continued past Nonza, cut across the island, and went down to down the east coast. And checked out the beaches there, which turned out to be pretty disappointing in terms of beaches.
But when you start here, it's hard to keep going up.
That's true. We did get in a great hike. All across the coast of Corsica are these towers, these watchtowers that were used to protect the island for hundreds and hundreds of years. Most of them are in disrepair, but we saw this one at the top above this beach. And we made the climb. It was a terrific climb. There was a rope we had to use to scale part of it. Really beautiful views at the top, just outstanding. But a really cool. Are you all right?
Yeah, there's bees.
Oh.
It's all right. We're good. We're good.
Really outstanding views, a great hike, and just climbing among the ruins was really a lot of fun. But that wasn't the only hike we did.
No. Well,
maybe the only
it was the only hike that we did, but there was a hike that just I did. And I had done considerable research trying to figure out how to get to where I wanted to be. There's a protected area called the Agriates Desert. And in that area, you can hike, you can take a water taxi to, I think there's 4 secluded beaches, and there is an ATV or a 4x4 trail that takes you to some of the places, but that's it, no cars. So Mark and I decided that I would get up early, he would drop me at the starting point, and I would get myself to a beach called Saleccia, about a 10-mile hike, and Mark would water taxi there and meet me there at noon. That was the goal, that was the hope, and we really did it. It was cool. The hike was incredible. It has to be one of my top 2 or 3 hikes, if not my top 1 so far. I walked the coastline because I had debated on taking the 4x4. It was shorter, 13 kilometers instead of 17, but I'm so thankful I didn't, because this coastal hike was spectacular, both visually, from a hiking standpoint, and a challenge. So I had a tumble where I actually biffed, stuff went sprawling. I haven't done that in years, thank goodness. But recovered quickly. There were a couple of pretty high scrambles, and then there was one.
Well, you did your favorite thing, which was crossing the mark.
Well, that's what I'm getting to, and I have a couple of fears, and one is spiders. Just can't do them. and the other is stuff touching my feet in water that I can't see, and this was trauma. That I have to cross this, and it's got goop in it, and apparently it's really deep, so I'm going to have to hoist my backpack. I'm not happy. It was trauma, but the cool thing about a fear is if you tackle it, you have a great story and you have an accomplishment.
Well,
so
it turns out it's interesting what that muck was, right?
So the muck is a seaweed. It's a seagrass, and it's all over Corsica. And I asked somebody about it because you see banks and banks, like feet, 4, 5, 6 feet of this when it's dried. It doesn't smell. It's not like sargassum. But there's piles of it, and they no longer remove it from the coastal banks because it's great fertilizer and it's an eco-friendly kind of a system. But what you need to know about this seagrass is that it not just piles on the shore, it piles on the floor of the seabed too. So on this traverse across this, this, I don't know what you call it, but it was about 30, 40 feet of a river kind of thing, an inlet. I didn't know how deep it was, so I took my backpack off, put it on top of my head, said a couple prayers for myself, and started walking. And the water was this deep, and the seagrass was this deep. Literally, my foot sunk to upper thigh, and I had to pull it out, and then the next one would sink, and it was disgusting and scary, really, because it was a weeble and a wobble, but you know, the gunk in that water went up to my boobs.
You made it to the beach. I was
did.
already there.
Yep, and the beach was incredible. Incredible. A beautiful, beautiful beach, and I'm a beach picky person.
I didn't understand why people just kept taking their clothes off everywhere.
Oh, yeah. You know what? In France, and we knew this too, so Corsica is part of France, nudity is just not an issue. So we got right with it. You drop your shorts, you put your swimsuit on, and you go. Or you don't put it on. So there were a couple bucket
I was pretty
lists.
pleased when I got applause when I changed my swimsuit.
Yeah, I clapped for him.
It wasn't just you. Never mind.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Moving on. It was a great hike. Yeah, we have to be careful here. It's a long drop. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was fabulous, Mark, and we water taxied back home. So I didn't do the 10 miles back, but really a 10 out of 10 hike. Fabulous.
The history part I wanted to see was in the capital, Ajaccio, which down the southern tip. This was Napoleon's birthplace. We got down there. Interesting town, built around a bay. Didn't spend much time there, and didn't spend much time at all, like none, at Napoleon's birthplace because it was all blocked off.
Yeah, parking is always an issue. Always.
Yeah. But they had something going on, and everything was blocked off, and I couldn't get in there. But the Napoleon part is sort of interesting in that the people in the southern part of the island tend to still revere him, and the people in the northern don't even know who he is. So there are political parties that are named in his honor in the south. And so his legacy still sort of lives on. And that was really about it. We headed over, though, to a really interesting old city called Bonifacio.
Yeah. Bonifacio was beautiful. Pretty metropolitan, you know. Huge marina with boats, as big as you'll find in any marina anywhere. And just houses and the citadel carved into the side of these limestone cliffs. So Mark and I weren't sure what we wanted to do in Bonifacio, but we saw some boat tours and we hopped on one. It was an hour ride out, a lot of fun and just gorgeous. So they took us into these limestone caves and we got to see the houses that are carved way up high. Just fascinating, and it was a really great hour spent on this boat.
Yeah, it was a beautiful town, and the entire city used to be up on the top of these cliffs, and people still live there. We were on the boat and seeing their laundry hanging out of these carved out of the side of the cliffs, housing. Really fascinating. Just part of the geology that is this island. Everywhere we went, every turn.
Mouth dropping. Just.
And the Red Rocks were no exception.
Yeah, before we headed to the Red Rocks, which is called the Calanques de Piana, probably messed that up, but I tried really hard.
Sounds good.
Thanks. We stopped at a beach right outside of Bonifacio, and that was beautiful. Super windy day though, so we didn't stay long, but crystal clear waters. and a nice pit stop. So the Red Rocks. This was amazing, and it was a really difficult place to go to. This was our last day of Corsica when we headed down, the last 2 days that we were on the island of Corsica when we did the southern trip. And this island is not big, but it's difficult to navigate. It just takes forever to get from point A to point B. We weren't sure if we were going to do this, and we decided, yeah, we're going for it. And golly, great decision, because it was probably, other than the hike, the highlight of the entire island for me. The Red Rocks of de Piana were none other than breathtaking. And we found a hike just 3/4 of a mile in and out called the Head of the Dog, so Tete Chien. And I know, pulling up my French, thanks Mademoiselle Liebler. I can swear well too, but that's about it. We got to this hike, and it was just absolutely goosebumpy and beautiful. And the drive took longer for 2 other reasons. And one was because every time we turned a corner, we had to stop and go, oh my God, get out, we need a picture. Oh my God, let's look at this.
But that's not really it. I think this trip will be most memorable for the animals.
I love animals.
Lisa loves animals, and apparently they love her.
They do, and I didn't, yeah.
On this trip, you know, you learn things about people, even if you've been with them 24/7 for months. They have some quirks, and this collection of animal encounters displayed Lisa's quirks in all their full glory. Not too many women are on a 100-degree day are going to get out of the car in their bare feet and run down the asphalt to try to get a picture of goat butts as they're running away from us.
Oh, they were so cool. Wild Corsican mountain goats. Just traveled up to us. We were driving, had to stop. I took a video. The video was crazy because I was so excited. I can't ever do it right. And then as they passed the car, I needed more. So, you know.
Well, the one goat tried to take the phone out of
it. He
it.
did. He was so cute.
And then we ran into some wild boar, and we had to stop and take pictures of them. And Lisa, of course, wanted to be one of those YouTube people that gets famous because they interacted with wildlife.
Yeah, we now know why bison gore people. Oh my God.
So there's a video of that here that ought to make you laugh.
He was really cute, and he would have jumped in the car, but yeah. And more cows.
Cows everywhere.
More cows. Wild cars. I mean, they're somebody's cows, but because they're tagged, but they're just roaming on the side of these very, very narrow cliff roads. I'm in absolute heaven here. I can't even get over this. Like, go figure. I'm just chilling on the beach. Well, look who we have. Hi, buddies. Hello. Oh my God. Oh, hello. How are you? No. Hey, no, he tried to get my phone. Hello. Oh, it's a steer. Hello, Mark. We're not doing. He's huge. So, hi, Mama. Okay, Mark. I don't know where he is. He's right here. Okay, we're going now. So, the western coast of Corsica, love you.
It was truly an amazing experience, and it wasn't just the animals.
No.
Our landlord Jean,
Yeah.
I spent some time with him, and I think he was absolutely delighted to have a chance to meet Americans and to talk to us. He was. I'm going to do a separate video on that, and once I get it done, I'll link it, because he's really into the minerals and all the things of this island. He's super proud of this island, and he had a lot to say about the asbestos and how it killed most of the men,
Most of the men.
in the village of Saint Florent over a period of time until asbestos was pretty much banned.
But I didn't think asbestos was an issue. I'm
well,
sorry.
Not on Nonza Beach it isn't.
Yeah.
But he was a fascinating dude and brought us all kinds of fruits and vegetables.
Oh, right
that
out of
they
his
grew.
garden. We used most of them. Thank you, Jean. They were wonderful.
Yeah, it was a great experience meeting with him, and I'm still translating because he has no English and I have no French, not enough. And I'm going to translate all the stuff, but he had a lot to say about his island and how proud of it he was, and really was really curious why I wanted to know something. And when people ask you questions like that,
Yeah.
it is a moment of self-reflection, like why do I want to know? But and my answer to him was that this entire trip, the most fascinating stuff we've done is meet people and to see how they live and to talk to them about what they're curious about and to get our questions answered. And John was certainly class A, super great, fitting that profile for us. So I really appreciated that,
Yeah.
and it was
Wonderful meeting both of them.
It was a great time.
Oh, and his son rescued my bag. So most of Corsica, I didn't have most of my luggage, which was a real drag. It was a direct flight, an hour flight from Rome, and they managed to lose the bag with all of my gear and most of my clothes. So
It turns out he works for Air France.
Air France, and he was able to deliver my bags the morning before we
5
left.
days afterwards. Yeah, it's fun. We'll find out how that travel insurance works.
Or it doesn't.
But that was Corsica. This was really a special place
Yeah.
for us, and I think again, we had no expectations going in, and it just
Maybe
absolutely
that's the
was.
way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe you go in with little research and no expectations, and
Plop
then you can
yourself down
only
and-
be blown away.
Well,
I don't know.
that was it. We loved it.
We did.
This is our last day on Corsica.
Boo!
We came here to this place with no expectations whatsoever, and we have been blown away by not just the landscape and the geology, but the people. What a beautiful, beautiful place this turned out to be.
For sure.
We're leaving in the morning for the Balkans for 8 weeks, and a lot of different countries. It'll be a very different experience, but we will never forget Corsica, the things we saw here.
It's worth coming back to. My list is getting longer. I'm Lisa, this is Mark, and we're the Vagabond Dreamers.
And take a vagabond dream of a vagabond fool. I ain't too proud to beg, but I'm playing it cool. I can do the town, I can do the walk when I'm walking with